All right, good afternoon, everybody. Looks like we only got 7 people right now. We'll hold on here for a second. I just want to, first of all, talk about. I got a bunch of emails from people that were having issues with the quiz and even some of the homework about how to format their answers correctly. And so I went back, looked at the videos, and realized that I didn't explain to you guys when we're dividing polynomials what part of the division process gives us what values. And so I want to go back to one of the examples that was in it shows up okay. The first example from the videos. And we were dividing this number or this polynomial by that polynomial, and we got some answer. And so let me identify the parts for you guys. So the piece that's being divided, that's just our polynomial, p of x. What it's being divided by, the divisor, thus it's d of x. So the divisor of x, d of x. What we end up with is the quotient, therefore q of x. And then any remainder piece, that's our r of x. And so with WebAssign, as with your guys' last exam, with exam 3, with the final exam, it's extremely important to enter the answer as it's being specified. So if it says something like, write your answer as p of x is q of x times d of x plus r of x. So if that's how it wants your answer, you need to put these pieces exactly this way. So q of x would be 6x minus 2. D of x is our x minus 4, plus the remainder of x, which is just 4. So this would be the answer, exactly the format, how you would have to put it into WebAssign. And if it specifies it differently, if it says like r of x over d of x, then you would have to put 4 over x minus 4. So those are all the different pieces. Again, I didn't identify that in the video, and I do apologize for that. I'll probably have to go back and refilm that video just to make sure you guys understand, or make sure, well, future classes anyhow, understand which part is which. So any questions on that before we get into some of the problems here today? And again, if you do have questions, just type the exclamation point a couple times, hit enter. That way I know that you're typing something, and I'll hold on for you. Also, I thought that I had given you guys access to your exam 2. So I talked with OIT yesterday. They walked me through what I needed to do. Yeah, so if you have these two reversed, it should be okay. It should still give you the credit. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so they walked me through supposedly how you guys should have access to exam 2, but I asked the 1 o'clock class and they said they still don't have access to it. So after class here today, I'll have to go back and call OIT again and see if they can walk me through exactly what has to be done. So, all right. So I guess no questions on this. We talked about the exam 2. All right. Let me see what questions you guys had. So for both classes, there weren't many questions, which is fine. So we'll do what we have to do. And if you guys have other questions, we can always address those as well. So the first one was number 3. And we have p of x is equal to x to the 4th minus x to the 3rd plus 9x plus 3. And it's being divided by d of x, which is x squared plus 8. We do 2, 3, and 4. Well, we're definitely doing 3 and 4. So again, with all these problems, if you guys want to see any of these problems, you need to post them to Canvas, to the discussion thread, in this case, homework 3.3, with a screenshot of the problem that you want to work. Because again, I can pull up WebAssign. I'm not going to have the same numbers as you guys. So to have you, if we were able to communicate verbally, it wouldn't be so bad. But trying to type it in, it could end up getting pretty messy. So hopefully if we do 3 and 4, you'll be able to go back and do 2. But again, like, it's on you guys. You need to have those questions put, because I have the class before this at 1 o'clock. That's why I give you guys that 12 o'clock deadline. I know it's a little bit early for you guys, but I go from that class right into your class. And so there's not really much time to be going back and backtracking on those. So again, for future classes, if you guys have questions on problems by noon on that day that we do them, please have the screenshots posted to Canvas. But again, hopefully 3 and 4, and if we'll probably be done early. I can try to go back and look at number 2, or if anything, if you want to put a screenshot of number 2 on the Canvas now, and then if we get done, I can kind of go back and look at that. So at least you can see that, Eddie. So if you want to do that, just post a screenshot of number 2 to Canvas, to the discussion thread, and we'll try to get to that one as well. All right, the thing with these dividing polynomial problems, so first of all, as with a lot of math, the more of these you do, the easier they get. And so once you understand the process of what you need to do, it doesn't matter what problem you're given then, it's just the same process every single time. So the more of these you can do, the easier they're going to be. There's a couple things about this. Now, if you can do synthetic division, that will be your quickest option. In this case, we can't do synthetic division because with synthetic division, it has to be 1x to the first power and then some constant. If it's not, we can't do synthetic division. The other thing we have to be careful with, whether it's of this type or if it is synthetic division, is that if we're missing a term, then we have to put a placeholder in. Otherwise, our numbers are going to get messed up down the way, and we're not going to have anything to match it up with to either add or subtract. So for this one, our only option is long division because we have x squared plus 8. So my p of x goes under the division bar. It's like regular long division, but we have all these x's and variables, and exponents rather. So I have what? X to the 4th minus x to the 3rd. I'm missing the x squared term, so I have to put in the placeholder, 0x squared, plus 9x plus 3. And then I'm dividing by x squared plus 8, but I also need the placeholder here for x, so that when I multiply everything around, I have 3 terms every time. So now it's a matter of the long division. So what do I have to put up here? So when I multiply it by x squared, I get this same value, x to the 4th. Well, it's going to be another x squared term. So multiply this around. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times 0x is 0x to the 3rd. Again, I just need that placeholder. And then plus 8x squared. Otherwise, if I didn't have those placeholders, this one wouldn't be there, that one wouldn't be there, and this would probably be under the x cubed, and then it's causing me a lot of confusion. So the placeholders just try to eliminate some of that confusion. And now the tricky part, we're subtracting this entire line. So x to the 4th minus x to the 4th, that's gone as we want it to be. Negative x to the 3rd minus 0x to the 3rd just gives me negative x to the 3rd. And then 0x squared minus 8x squared gives me minus 8x squared left over. I have 3 terms out here, so I need 3 terms down here. So I need to bring down the 9x. So what do I have to put up here that when I multiply it by x squared, I get negative x to the third? It's going to be negative x. So negative x times x squared is negative x to the third. And then negative x times 0x is minus or plus 0x squared. And then negative x times 8 is minus 8x. So again, we have to subtract this whole thing. This is why synthetic is nice if we can do it, because we're not worried about all these minus signs everywhere. But when we're doing long division, we have negative signs everywhere. So if you get a problem like this on the exam, which you will if you do it long division, be careful with your signs. So you have what? Negative x to the third plus x to the third is gone. Negative 8x squared minus x squared is just minus 8x squared. And then 9x minus negative 8x is 9x plus 8x, which is plus 17x. Again, I'm just kind of going here. If you guys have questions, make sure you stop me, but so far no questions, I guess. And then lastly, bring down the 3. So what do I have to multiply x squared by in order to get negative 8x squared? That would be minus 8. So multiply around. Negative 8 times x squared, negative 8x squared. Negative 8 times 0x is 0x. And negative 8 times positive 8 is minus 64. And we are subtracting this whole line. So negative 8x squared plus 8x squared gone. 17x minus 0x, 17x. 3 minus negative 64 is like 3 plus 64. So that's plus 67. So this is my R of x. This guy here is my Q of x. And let me see how they want the answer formatted. What's this, number 3? So they want it sort of as I described earlier. So d of x times q of x minus plus r of x. So it's 8. It's x squared plus 8 times q of x squared minus x minus 8 plus r of x 17x plus 67. So that should be your answer there. Any questions on that one? That's a good one. That basically encompasses everything. A placeholder here, a placeholder on the outside. How do we want the answer formatted? Our Rx, Qx, Dx, etc. Any questions on that one before we move on to number 4? No? All right. You guys are quiet today. All right, so number 4. So I'll have you guys do this one. So you have P of x is x to the 5th plus x to the 4th minus 8x to the 3rd plus 7x plus 7. And d of x is x squared plus x minus 1. And this one, it wants the answer in the form q of x plus r of x over d of x. So go ahead and try that one. I'll give you guys a little bit of time here. Don't try to rush through it. Again, that's where you're going to run into trouble on these, because if one sign gets off anywhere on this problem, the whole thing is pretty much done. It's similar to the system of three equations. If you make one mistake on the system of three equations, the whole thing is going to be in trouble because the problem will continue through. So try this one. Be super careful if you're missing a term. Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you. So this one is our attendance question. So if you want to do this one in your attendance notebook already, that's fine. Not your attendance notebook, your ticket out the door. Thank you, Shelby, for reminding me. Yeah, so this will be your attendance question. Yeah, we'll go through synthetic division. Actually, number 9, somebody wants to see, and then let me check number 2. Is that a synthetic division as well? No, so 2 is not synthetic either. 2 is similar to this. It's just instead of a x squared, you have a 2x, but same idea. But yeah, so I'll definitely go through synthetic division in large part because in section 3.4, let's see. Oh, okay, no problem, Eddie. So Amber, try it without the parentheses around the remainder part. Just what was it? 17x plus 67 or something. I forget now, but try to take the parentheses off the last one. See if that marks it okay. But oh yeah, as I was saying, so synthetic division is super, super important for section 3.4. We're going to be finding roots of polynomials. And to do that, we have to divide these polynomials. And if we don't do synthetic division, we're going to have to do this long division on every single one. And it's going to take you guys forever. So try to practice as many of these synthetic division problems as you can. Because once we get to 3.4, which is for Monday's class, if you're still struggling with it, it's just going to make that section a complete nightmare. Amber, did you try without the parentheses? Did it give it to you correct there? If not, hopefully we had the right answer. Nobody said it wasn't right, so that's why I erased it. But let's see. Is anybody else having trouble? Do you have the right answers? The numbers are correct. So is anybody else trying? Did anybody else? So Amber, just make sure that that you have the pluses and minuses and all the numbers work fine. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you. So just put it in as the way we had it. So the parentheses with d of x, parentheses with our q of x, and then plus the remainder. I think Shelby, did you post that to the discussion thread? Somebody had number 9, so maybe if you posted it, then yeah, it was definitely for yours. Okay. Yeah, so it's probably just your remainder part then. I think you had the first part right, but not the remainder. Amber, were you able to get the answer to work for number 3? If not, do a screenshot, Amber, and post it to the discussion thread. Maybe I can look at what you're putting in and see if we can figure out why it's not taking it. And once you guys get this done, just type done. That way I know you guys are not just waiting on me or waiting on everybody. So, okay. So like I said, just take a screenshot of it. Or if you want, from WebAssign, there's the Ask the Instructor feature. Just whatever, send that one to me, and then I can see how you're entering it in and kind of see where we're going wrong there. So, okay. Hey, Vanessa, welcome. Okay. Yeah, so Amber, just send that one to me through WebAssign, and then I'll try to look at it and figure out where the issue is there. Yep. Oh, okay. So I see, Amber. So again, yeah, so you have to enter it exactly as it specifies. And so it's telling you enter it as d of x times q of x plus r of x. And you don't have d of x in there. You have to put the divisor times q of x plus r of x. So you're missing this piece. You need this piece here in your answer. So just like Brianna has it written out there, that's how you need to have it. X squared plus 8 times x squared minus x minus 8 plus 17x plus 67. So again, you're missing this piece. Okay, so everybody done with this guy, or at least most of you maybe? I don't want to waste all day here for you. All right, so again, this one we have to do long division. So x squared plus x minus 1. And we're missing our x squared term. So when we write this out, we have to put in that placeholder. And then it's just a process here. So first thing is x to the third. This gives me x to the fifth plus x to the fourth minus x to the third. Subtract this whole thing. Be careful with the minuses. Correct, Amber. Yep. So that's gone. That's gone. So the only thing we're left with here is minus 7x to the third. So negative 8x to the third plus, so negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. So I have 3 terms in the front here. So I have the 3 terms in the front, so I'm going to have 3 terms down here. So I actually need to bring down 2 terms in this situation. So the last problem, we just had to keep bringing down 1. In this case, we have to bring down 2. So then I need what? I need minus 7x. That way, negative 7x times x squared is negative 7x to the third. And then minus 7x squared and plus 7x. Subtract this. So this term is gone. Negative times negative, this becomes positive 7x squared. And 7x minus 7x is gone, so 0x. And then bring down this last 7. And then we have what? We need to add 7 here. 7 times x squared is 7x squared. 7 times x, so plus 7x. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Subtract this. X squareds are gone. Minus 7x. 7 minus a negative 7. 7 plus 7. So plus 14. So this is our r of x. This is our q of x. How does it want it formatted? So it wants q of x, which is x to the third minus 7x plus 7, plus the remainder, negative 7x plus 14 over d of x, x squared plus x minus 1. This is exactly how you have to, okay, yeah, go ahead and type your question. This is exactly how you have to enter it in WebAssign. If there's any variation at all, it's going to tell you it's wrong. It has to be q of x plus r of x over d of x. All right, for the 2 7x terms, why don't they completely cancel each other out? These guys here, for the 2 7x terms. I'm assuming you mean this guy, right? So we have 7x minus 7x gives us our 0x. So they do you're right, they do cancel each other out. So I just put the 0x in there as my placeholder. So 7x minus 7x, and S is right, they cancel each other out. So you could leave it blank. Yeah, so positive and negative, so they do so you could leave this blank, but then the problem is when I multiply this around, I don't have anything to match the 7x with. That's why even if it's 0, write it as 0x or 0x squared or something like that, just as our placeholder. Otherwise, it potentially is going to cause you guys a lot of confusion. Because when you multiply this 7 around, it's like, wait a minute, 7x doesn't have anything to match up with, and it just prevents running into issues like that. So you're correct. It does cancel each other out. It's just we put that x back in as the placeholder. Yeah, that's a good question. All right, so any other questions on this guy before we move on to number 9? And if you have questions, type that exclamation point. Otherwise, I'm going to erase this and then I won't have anything to reference back. If you have a question, stop me before I erase it here. Okay, and again, use this as your attendance question. Just write this in your ticket out the door notebook for today. All right. So number 9 has to do with synthetic division. So let me talk a little bit about that. So in synthetic division, if I have some polynomial, whatever it is, and my divisor is of the form x minus c, it has to be of this form, a 1 in front of the x and x to the first power. So those last examples, it was an x squared. I can't do synthetic division. Number 2 has a 2x plus or minus 1, I forget, but it has a 2 in front of the x. I can't do synthetic division there. It has to just be x by itself, and then I should say plus or minus some value of c. So to do synthetic division then, what we're going to do is we're going to put all the coefficients in sort of the upside down division bar here. So whatever the coefficients from this guy is, p of x, we put those coefficients in. We don't have to write the x to the fourth and x squared and all that anymore. But we still need the placeholders. So even if there's a variable missing, we especially need a 0 here. Because if we don't, we have no chance of getting this thing right. So you have to put in the placeholder of 0 if it belongs. And then in front here is my value of c. And so the easy way to remember this is whatever value I see, so the opposite of what you see is the number that goes in the front. So for example, if I was dividing by x minus 4, so I see a negative 4, so I would put a positive 4 in front here. So whatever number I'm dividing by, whatever I see, it's the opposite number that goes in front of here. So are we okay to that point before I kind of run through what the process is then? Any questions on that? If so, again, give me the exclamation point. All right, so then here's the process. I'm going to draw another line in here. Whatever this first value is, whatever the first coefficient is, we just bring that straight down. So I'm just going to use boxes to represent some number. I bring that number down, that's the first number, so we'll call it box 1. And then the process is the same from here on out. I multiply this number times c, and whatever that is moves up into this line here. So I'll just make it a circle for now. Now maybe I shouldn't put a circle, that looks like a 0. Let's call it a triangle. So I multiplied these two numbers, that comes up onto this line as a triangle. Then I just add the numbers down. So we're not worrying about those negative signs anymore. Like in the last line, it's like, don't forget we're net minusing, so you have to distribute the minus all the way through. No more of that. We just add the numbers down. That will give us a second number here. And then just keep repeating the process. Multiply these guys, bring the number up to here, add down. Multiply these guys, bring the number up to here, add down, etc., 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 until I run out of numbers. Once I run out of numbers, the number at the end is the remainder. All these numbers that are ahead of the last number are the coefficients, and the exponents are one less than what I started with. So let's say this guy started out as x to the 5th and then a bunch of stuff. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4. So this one's going to be x to the 4th plus whatever. And whatever this coefficient is, that would go into there. The process is always the same. Once we get an answer at the end, subtract 1 off of the exponent we started with. And then it's just x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, x to the 1st, etc. And these numbers just go in front of our variables. So does that make sense there? We'll do number 9 as an example of how we do it. Everybody's got that? No questions? All right, so let's look at number 9. So number 9, we have x to the third plus 5x squared plus 9x plus 8 divided by x plus 5. So, because I'm dividing by x plus or minus some value, I can do synthetic division. So I'm going to set it up, and I see positive 5, so I'm putting negative 5 in front. Whatever I see plus 5, do the opposite here. And now put in my coefficients, and if I'm missing a term, which I'm not, if I was missing a term, I'd have to put in 0. But in this case, I just put in the coefficients 1, 5, 9, and 8. If there was minus signs in here, I would have to include the minus sign as well. So if this said, for instance, minus 9x, this would be a minus 9 in the first row. So now we start the process. Always just bring the first number down, 1. And we have what? Multiplication. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. That's what number comes up into the line here. And now just add these two. 5 minus 5 is 0. And then repeat the process over and over until I run out of numbers. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. That's what number goes up here. 9 plus 0 is 9. Multiply these two. Negative 5 times 9 is negative 45. 8 minus 45 is negative 37. The last number is my remainder, r of x. This one here, I started with x to the third, so it's going to be x squared, x, and x to the 0. So it's basically what? 1x squared plus 0x, so that guy is gone, plus 9. So this is q of x. So I think on WebAssign it just gives you 2 boxes. What's q of x? X squared plus 9. What's r of x? Negative 37. Does that make sense to everybody? That entire process. Again, you want to get to the point where this process is almost second nature, because for section 3.4, you're going to be using synthetic division a lot. And if you struggle with what the process is, the problems are going to take you forever. So you want to get to where it's like, okay, bring it down, multiply, bring it up. Add, multiply, bring it up. Add, multiply, bring it up, etc., etc., etc. So is everybody okay with that? Any questions on that one? Where did you get x squared? So I started with x to the third. So my answer is always going to be 1 exponent less than that. So I started with x to the third. I'm going to start with x squared in my answer. So if this was x to the fifth, my answer would have started with x to the fourth. Okay, good, Amber. If this started as x to the ninth, my answer would have started with x to the eighth, etc., etc. So whatever I start with as my exponent, the answer, q of x, is always 1 less than what I started with. And then there's no x term because that's 0x. That's why there's no x term written in there. If you write it with 0x, that's okay, but you don't need to. Okay, good. Any other questions on this? Since we have plenty of time, I'll probably give you guys one to try out here. We'll work it together, or well, I'll let you work it, and we'll work the answer before I give you guys a ticket out the doors. I want to make sure you have this down. All right, so let me give you another example. So is the board bright enough? It seems like clouds are moving in and it's getting darker in the room here. So are you guys able to see everything okay? If not, maybe I can turn the light on, but it seems to cause a glare when I do. All right, so let's do an example. So divide P of x is x to the fourth minus x squared plus x minus 2. So divide that guy by d of x, which is x minus 1. X minus, yeah, sure, why not? X minus 1. I'm more concerned you know the process than having horrible numbers. So go ahead and try that. Again, once you guys get done. So for this one, just tell me what's q of x and what's r of x. So try that. Once you get done, just again type done so I know you guys have finished up, not that you're sitting there waiting on me. Okay, Eddie. All right. Give you guys another minute or so here, and then we'll work this one. Turn the light on. See if, is that causing a glare there? Right here. Well, I'll turn it back off. If you guys have trouble seeing, let me know, and I'll try to figure something out here so it's not causing a glare on the board. But give you guys a little bit more time here. All right, so let's do this one. First thing, we're missing our x to the third. So we have to be careful with that. We're dividing by x minus 1. So it's the opposite of what I see. I see -1, so it's going to be +1 on the outside. And if I put in my coefficients, 1, x to the third is 0. I have to have that 0 there. then -1, 1, -2. So now the process, bring down the first number 1, multiply it as 1, bring it up. 0 plus 1 is 1. Multiply it, bring it up. -1 plus 1 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. -2 plus 1 is -1. Does everybody have that? A lot of ones there. So again, I'm not really so concerned with the numbers, more so do you know the process? So if you have the process right, you can usually get through this pretty quick. So any questions on this before we then write out our final answer? All right, so we have Q of X and R of X. So R of X, the remainder, is just -1. Q of X, I started with X to the 4th, so my answer is going to start with X to the 3rd, and it's 1, and then plus 1x squared plus 0x plus 1. So those should be the two answers that you have. Q of X is x cubed plus x squared 1 with the remainder of -1. Any questions on that one? No, everybody got it, I hope. All right, so then let me give you guys your ticket out the door. So for today, so divide, I'll take it out the door. First one, divide P of X is equal to x cubed minus x plus 3 by R of X, which is equal to x plus 2. So what is Q of X? And what is R of X? And then 2, a little bit of review here for you guys. Solve x plus y minus z is -2. 3x plus 2y plus z is equal to -3. And x minus y plus 3z is equal to 0. So go ahead and try those two. Again, once you're done, let me know you're done and I'll put the answers up for you guys. While you're doing that, a couple things. I have had a couple emails from people asking me about my schedule for the fall. So I don't have it yet. They haven't assigned classes. Usually they ask us what days and times and classes that we want. So what I can tell you, so I don't know the sections yet. I'll have to go online and look at that. And maybe I'll post it on Canvas. So if you guys are signing up for classes for the fall already. But my intention is going to be to get a Tuesday, Thursday class, 8:30 a.m. or 10 a.m. So if you have to take 127, if you want to take me, great. Those will be the times. If you definitely don't want to take me, then avoid those times. But I'll put in my request for a Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 or 10 a.m. Math 127 class. So if you are signing up, you can try to get into one of those classes for now. That way you're not stuck on a wait list later if you do want to take me for 127. And then I'll go online here tonight, look at what the sections are, and then I'll post that to Canvas. They're pretty good about giving us the sections that we request. It's only if like somebody has a time conflict, then they might move us around a little bit. But they've been good about giving me that class for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years. So The good thing is nobody wants to teach at 8:30, so I never have an issue with getting that 8:30 class. Sucks for you guys having to get up early, but that's that. And then as far as summer class, I usually don't teach summer class, but with this entire quarantine thing, I know summer classes, I guess they're saying that those are going to be the same setup. So this online, is there a professor you can recommend for it? Do they have any professors listed yet? Or I can look, but I may do a summer class. I normally don't, but I may do it just because of this quarantine issue and, be a little bit of extra money. But we'll have to see on that though. But I haven't committed to any summer class yet. If you give me the name, so one thing I can tell you is it seems I don't like it, but they give a lot of the summer classes to tenured instructors. So if you give me, yeah, please, we'll see. It's thing I don't like about it is it's so late in the day. It's like 5 to 7 p.m. So by that point, I'm like just kind of done with the day. But we'll see. So I'll see about doing it. I may. Uh, but yeah, if they do have any instructors listed for summer classes and you want to know, like, all right, I don't trust Rate My Professor, so what do you think? I'll give you guys my honest opinion on it. Yeah, as of right now, all I'll be requesting is the fall 8:30 and 10 a.m. 127s. All right, so I'll let you guys oh yeah, so my other thing, so since I have more free time now, Netflix, watching a lot of Netflix, so I'll give you guys like suggestions when I see some good stuff. Obviously, if you haven't watched Casa de Papel or Money Heist, that's my suggestion. Watch that one. That's, in my opinion, is the best one on Netflix. But I did watch a show the other day. It's called The Dawn Wall. So it's about a climber that tries to climb this rock wall in Yosemite. It's really good. It's short. It's a single episode documentary. It's probably an hour and a half long or something. So if you just need a study break, that would be a good one to watch. I'm watching Money. Yeah. Did you just start watching it, or are you on season 4 already, Shelby? Yeah, Ozark is good too. So I would say probably of the series I've seen, probably Money Heist and probably Ozark is the one after. Finished a while ago. The Dawn Wall. Yeah, Morgan. It's good. It's really interesting. I mean, this guy his commitment to that thing. So okay, Jasmine, you're done. Good. So we'll let a few people finish up, and then I'll put the answers up here. So the OA, is that the name of it? Just OA? Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I was interested in the new shows. Of course, Tiger King. If you haven't seen Tiger King and you just want a show where you don't have to think for like 7 episodes or whatever it is, that's one. Not a lot of thinking required in that one. Okay, yeah, Shelby, you just started. So I'll give you a warning about Money Heist. Like once you start, it's so difficult to stop watching because it just every episode just is like intensity into the next one. So you never want to stop. So next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and you're still watching the show. So you got to be careful with that, as it'll eat up a lot of time on you in a hurry. But it's worth it. It's such a good show in my opinion, anyhow. So. All right. So again, you guys keep working this. When you start getting done, let me know, and I will post the answers up. And certainly, once I post the answers, I'm not trying to kick you out. Stranger, okay. And if you want some tough ones to watch, you got Don't F with Cats and Gabriel Fernandez story. But those are rough. Those those are definitely not uplifting series or series, I guess, or documentaries. So I would go with, if you're trying to decide, I go with Tiger King. That's a lot more entertaining than the other ones. The other ones are hard to watch. So they're good. They're just really hard to watch. Ozark in the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. So Ozark, I agree. So Ozark, it takes a few episodes before it kind of gets to where it hooks you. And then after it hooks you, then it's pretty good. So, okay, done. Get a couple more people done, and then I'll put the answers up for you guys. Okay, Lee. All right, so I'll put the answers up again. If you haven't finished, keep working. I'm not trying to like get rid of you here. It's just for those people that are done. If they have the answers, then they can log off. But if you guys are still working them, then definitely keep working them. I'm not trying to get rid of you here. So Q of X for this one should be X squared minus 2X plus 3. And your remainder should be -3. And then for this one, the second one, this is your system of 3 equations. Again, kind of review to keep it fresh in your mind here. You should have X is equal to -2, Y is equal to 1, Z is also equal to +1. So if you guys finished up, if you got those answers, then free to head on out, free to log off. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe. Hopefully, we'll get through this sooner than later. And we'll see you guys on Monday. I'll post the on discussion thread for next week's homework. So if you start on that, you can start posting any screenshots you have an issue with. But otherwise, again, if you guys are still working this, please do keep working it. Check your answers. If you don't have it right, you have a question or something like that, I'll try to answer it for you here before you log off. So, but otherwise, if you guys are done and you got the answers, then have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week. For the rest of you, just let me know when you finish up. All right, thanks, Brianna. You too. All right, Morgan. You have a good weekend. All right, thanks, Vanessa. You too. Be safe. Looks like our numbers are dropping down here. Does anybody have any questions or need me to stick around? Otherwise, I will shut down the stream and wish you guys a good weekend here. All right, so I guess you guys have a good weekend. If you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, ask me through WebAssign, ask me through Canvas. Otherwise, we'll talk to you guys on Monday.